welcome to the Tokenverse podcast series, where we interview the most inspiring minds to discuss the potential and future of Web3 technologies. The Tokenverse series is brought to you by DoinGud, an NFT ecosystem focused on inspiring creativity and positive social impact on the world. Today, we are joined by Gajesh Naik, a 13-year-old founder of Gaj Finance, building the Gaj universe, and Pratik Gandhi, head of growth and marketing at Covalent. Hey guys, how's it going?
Yeah,
We're good.
Having a good day so far?
Mhm.
Yes.
Excited
I'm really
about this,
happy.
and thanks for having us on this show.
Thank you so much for talking to me today. Really appreciate it. And I'm sure all the listeners as well will find this a great deal of information. So I'm really excited to dig in here and figure out what you guys are getting into. So let's start with Gajesh. What I wanted to say is that, being a 13-year-old in this space is particularly impressive. And like you, I became interested in technology at a really young age, tinkering with computer hardware and learning HTML, failing to learn C++. But technology really didn't become my profession until I was already an adult. So I think it's really exciting to see someone that's your age excelling in this really exploratory and fresh space. It's often really challenging to work in this industry. So I'm extremely impressed by that. I'm sure you're aware that most people, or to most people, that blockchain and crypto assets are still a very mystifying and perplexing thing, and maybe even a bit scary. So I'm kudos to you for getting started at such a young age. So I understand that you joined a coding boot camp at 8 years old. Is that right?
Yeah, yes.
So you're now 13. You've been coding or programming now for 5 years. That's and you've stuck with it. And the way I understand it is you try to learn a new programming language every year. Is that right?
Yes. Now I'm mostly focusing on Solidity and Web3.js.
So, given that you have so much experience with these different programming languages now, what inspires you to devote your time to your current project, to Gaj Finance?
Yeah, so really love coding. I like building. Then Web3 has inspired me a lot in many ways. I enjoyed playing around with different use cases and working with the community, and uh the way everyone welcomed me and encouraged me has inspired me a lot to build Gaj Finance.
That's awesome. That's really good. So, part of my thinking was that, maybe the reason that we don't see more younger folks like yourself building in the space is simply the cost of gas, the how much it costs to deploy smart contracts. And, prior to Polygon, it set a really high barrier for people in the space, I would think. Is that something that you would agree with?
Yeah, I would say yes for this. And Polygon really opened up a great opportunity for someone like me to start building and deploying. And at the same time, Ethereum is an amazing playing field. I am exploring it a lot now, and for personal use as well as for product building.
That's brilliant. Great. So, what would you say has been your biggest challenge or maybe a lesson to date in this space?
It is important to keep on evolving and learning. You need to create your own process of innovation. And another important lesson is be careful with everything you do. Be associating with people or projects important. uh yeah, important, be aware of that deeply.
Yeah, there's it could be really tricky to navigate this space, I feel like. And when people agree with you, you're the champion or the hero. And when they disagree with you, you're the villain. So it can, I think having a sort of value attached to particular assets can bring out some certain attitudes in people that might not be so desirable. Definitely. So your tracker record, I feel like, speaks for itself, and what you're actually contributing to the space is all positive stuff. So I think, keep your head up and keep building, like you said. It could be a tough space for an adult, let alone someone who's younger like you. As somebody who I've been experimenting with DeFi since 2020, and I've witnessed a lot of innovation in the space, but it was often clear to me as well that this being such an early space still and very speculative, that there were some key components that were missing. The user interfaces have been very clunky. Poorly designed tokenomics often lead to really negative user experiences. And because of that, the retention in these DeFi protocols is often pretty low. Not too many people stick around to a particular protocol for very long, unless, let's say, the yield is very high. So, what I'm looking to get a better understanding of how Polygaj, which I feel like is how you began, how did it evolve into what is now the Gaj universe?
Sure. So, I believe that NFTs can do a lot more, and the intersection of DeFi and NFTs interests me a lot. So it was important to evolve Polygon further for and bring more use cases.
That's great. Yeah. I'm really looking forward to see what you do with this, how the universe grows. Your background right now, it might be something that you want to talk about. So this is a new NFT project that you have coming out. Do you want to talk a little bit more about that?
Sure. Yeah. So the new NFT project which you're talking about is called Happy Gaj. You can see this is my avatar for Happy Gaj, and yeah, sure. So starting from uh, yeah, okay, this is okay. So
So
talking
it
about
looks pretty
Happy Gaj,
exciting. It's first of all, elephants are cool.
yeah, it's cool.
so,
Sure.
so what I'm really interested to know now is, I see, you not only produce YouTube videos, but you've also recently started your own podcast, The Gaj Show. You want to tell us a little bit about that? You've already had some really high profile guests on the show. I think that's really exciting. I saw the most recent episode that you had Koopa Troopa on. How awesome is that? I love to see it.
Sure. So curiosity. Yeah. So curiosity is the reason behind it, and also I want to help listeners to get a better grasp of the crypto world by getting into conversation with these with some of the leading voices in the crypto space. So,
That's awesome. Good on you for getting out and educating people in this space. That's really awesome to see. And the last question that I have for you is, what impact, either short or long term, do you wish to have on the crypto space? And second part of that question is, any milestones that you're particularly proud of and that you want to share with us today?
sure. So I want to keep on building, and I want to keep on making great products in this. If I could help the community to win, then nothing like that.
Very cool. What are some of your personal goals that you have in the next, say, this year?
This year, oh yeah, sure. So first is first of all is making Happy Gaj a success. Then making all my projects a good success and building on it. And yeah, these are like my goals till now.
Fantastic. Awesome. I appreciate that. So let's move on to Pratik. This is Pratik Gandhi. He's the head of marketing and growth at Covalent. Give us a rundown of your roles that you have at Covalent and all the exciting things that are going on at the moment.
Yeah, there's a lot that's happening. Uh, I mean, per my role, so I look after marketing growth at Covalent. It's predominantly like a business focused role, non-technical, so to speak. I mean, and like looking after what's like, and at Covalent, essentially, the marketing and growth role or function actually acts as a support function to all the other functions that are there in the company. For example, developer relations, community. Then we have ecosystem growth. We also have research, and then the design team is what we work with closely in terms of getting things done. So basically, it's a support function. But yeah, I mean, which means it is basically acting as a heart. I mean, of the company, I mean, all of the organization, where basically everything moves from there. And then like, because it is consumer focused, I mean, we also have to kind of, I mean, like we do get involved in like different places. I mean, in terms of like doing podcasts or going to events and so on. So all of that is basically covered in this. And to add to that, I mean, we launched Covalent Network, and in the month of May, and I would like to give you give a little bit of background of what we do. So we basically indexing like different blockchains and like creating meaningful data points for different projects within the space. So up until now, we have indexed 15 blockchains, which includes like the top chains in this space. You name it, and we have indexed it. And by the end of like this year, we will be indexing like at least 20 chains. That's our goal. And then we're looking at anywhere between 500 to 600 projects that are kind of using or building those chains. So yeah, I mean, and we support those projects with one unified API. And that one unified API is essentially used by all these projects to determine all kinds of data, like wallet balances, transaction details, historical data, creating dashboards, and so on. So what we want to do, in a sense, is to kind of democratize the whole concept of blockchain data, and build that kind of middleware kind of a solution wherein we bring in like all the like data points, and at the same time make sure that there is data sovereignty at the end of the day. That's what we are aiming for. With the launch of Covalent Network, that's what we saw happening. And when we started back in 2017, we started as a centralized entity, and now we've started kind of moving towards decentralization with the DAO, the network launch, the DAO in place. We also have active governance. Currently, we have a couple of proposals that we are discussing, and then soon they will be passing vote, and we will be seeing like multiple things blooming around that as well. So yeah, like we I mean, in a sense, my role like kind of goes from marketing to growth to like community facing to governance. So yeah.
That's awesome. Got a lot of tricks up your sleeve then. Cool. So you touched on the 15 different blockchains that have been indexed by Covalent, which I think is, if I'm not mistaken, already well ahead of some of the alternatives in this space. And decentralized data points are something that are sorely needed for Web3 to survive and thrive. So it's fantastic to see that the initiative is being done. So do you want to touch on what are some of the advantages of using Covalent versus an alternative?
Yeah, sure. So like I said, like Covalent basically like goes deep when it comes to data. So what we do is the process of indexing a blockchain is we index the entire chain. So we don't keep anything behind. Like if you compare it with like other players in the industry, there are different APIs to kind of index a particular data point, and that's what you take, and
Right.
that's it. But Covalent, think of it like a giant spreadsheet, and then that spreadsheet has all the kind of data points. And for whomever wants to kind of get access to the data, they can easily get it. And then we basically put it on a database. And then they can access that. The speeds are higher too compared to like other players in the industry. Like we guarantee like seconds of speed in terms of retrieving the data point. So that's an advantage too. I mean, and on top of that, we were looking at like different use cases. I mean, we not only like have dApps as customers, but like we are talking about different exchanges, wallets, custodian, like applications, NFT dashboards. I mean, like a lot of NFT projects also kind of use Covalent. A lot of DAOs are currently using Covalent data for their whatever data needs. So, and because we index the entire chain, so whatever you want access to, you have it at on our database. So that's how easy we make it for anyone to kind of index. And the best, best thing I like about the product is it's a no-code solution. So you don't like need technical skills. Of course, you would need certain things that to query certain data points, but you don't need to code in order to get like different data points. It's a no-code solution for anyone who wants to kind of access, as long as they understand SQL. You'll be able to kind of get access to like data points. You would be able to build amazing products. I mean, we run like multiple hackathons at any given point in time. Like right now, we are involved in a couple of hackathons as we speak. And then there are like multiple projects, multiple teams using Covalent API to build amazing products across chains.
Awesome. I mean, that was one of the first things that I noticed in doing my own research into Covalent is the impressive list of financial contributors and technical partners that you guys already have, and some of which are these are services that I already use, like CoinGecko and Zerion. I think that's awesome. I had no idea that they were utilizing Covalent for their data. And I did notice as well that NFTX is also starting to utilize you, which is amazing to see. Any other sneak peeks you might be able to give us?
Well, I mean, like I said, there are 500 plus projects. I mean, literally, it's a scaling challenge internally for us to like look at these projects and see who's actually using the data, because we have this one single API access, and we every day there are different requests that we get. We cannot understand, like sometimes it's difficult to kind of understand because the email address is different, or the names are different, identities are like different. It's difficult to understand who's actually using it, but there are tons of requests that come every day. And then, I mean, beyond these requests, of course, we are also going into meaningful partnerships, like you mentioned, Zerion and CoinGecko and Aave, and like multiple other projects that are currently NFTX. We are also in we're closely connected with Rarible as well. And we've started we've picked up conversations with Axie Infinity as well to kind of support the play to earn kind of economy. So yeah, there are multiple like touch points at this point, but yeah, we are like very much focused to be like that middleware kind of solution which kind of connects the Web3 infrastructure for everyone.
Brilliant. Yeah. So you touched on some of the challenges, when building a cross-chain unified API. And I think scaling, is the common factor in building any Web3 infrastructure. That's the key challenge. But from, maybe from your perspective, why is multi-chain the future? Why is Covalent putting in the effort into supporting all these different chains so early on?
Yeah, it wasn't so like this. A couple of years ago, we were very much fixated on Ethereum and the value that Ethereum has. Even till today, like if you look at the chains that we have indexed, or like I think 95% of the projects are essentially EVM based chains, which means like, I mean, of course, from a scalability standpoint, it makes sense for us to kind of index EVM based chains. So
Right.
and then that is the essence. But we do believe, like, and it's been, I think, last 12 months or so, that we've kind of had like different data points, that we have a research arm as well called Alpha Alarm, that also kinds of comes up, like spins up like different pieces of content, different pieces of research material and so on. So we know that there is that like shift happening in terms of like getting more like transactions. The gas costs is a challenge. There are different things like in terms of UX. There are challenges there too. So we've looked at all those things and like and we've been ahead of time. Like literally, if you look at the data points across Avalanche or Phantom, we've indexed them, and we've indexed them, I think, 3-4 months before they kind of got like so much start getting so much of traction, whatever traction that you're seeing across Avalanche and so on. So yeah, we believe in a multi-chain future. I mean, but again, like deriving value back to Ethereum is important. Because that's where the network is, that's where the community is. But yeah, at the same time, we are not kind of fixated on one particular chain today. In fact, the settlement layer for Covalent is also going to be Moonbeam. So that's something that that is also something like, I mean, we've been like vocal about it. And that will be happening once the kind of the validator and the network kind of goes on like the main net.
Awesome. Great explanation. So what should we expect in terms of seeing more of the Covalent name in the NFT world?
Yeah, good question. I mean, we like I said, we already support these, like some of the top NFT projects in this space. We're closely working with them as well. Some of the things that we are rolling out in terms of dashboards. So like, because like we are an API. So think of it like being a waiter or and at a restaurant, and bringing you like different whatever menu items, and so like we have like different cuisines at our store. All you have to do is like create like whatever you want and build something of your own. So
Right.
like from that perspective, we want to keep that positioning, but at the same time looking at how hot the NFT markets are, or how hot, let's say, DAOs are, community DAOs are especially becoming, or like whatever data points that we saw in DeFi last year to this year. Yeah, we are thinking of coming up with like different dashboards that we can launch for the consumers, for anyone who wants to kind of look at, let's say, what's hot in NFTs. There are different tools today, but and then I mean, as Covalent, we don't want to be a competitor, but like if we have the data points, we can spin up a product for that particular use case. And the dashboards can be used by anyone who wants to kind of understand what's trending, what's hot, and everything. And because like, again, going back to the same thing, right? Of like, we have indexed all the data. So we know everything that's happening around this. It's just that we build products around these and cater towards the needs of what's hot.
Great. So you touched on a little bit about maybe Covalent's growth strategy. And I see some components of Covalent have already been made open source. You did touch a little bit on the decentralization that is ongoing. What might that look like? You know, is there a time horizon? Are we thinking more decentralization over the next 6 months to a year? What might that look like?
Okay, in terms of timelines, I mean, of course, there are different pieces to it. We have like the next big update that's coming out of Covalent is the staking thing, like basically the validator block specimen producer, as we call it. And if you see my background right now, it is called Stake in the City. This is our this is our program, like learn and earn program, wherein we have put out like different set of videos wherein people learn about what staking is, and at the same time get rewarded in like NFTs or POAPs that they can kind of claim, and of course learn more about what's actually happening. So that's how we've kind of started like teaching, and then we will be launching the staking dashboard in the month, I think sometime in October, and once we do, I mean, that's essentially going to be our second step. Like the first step was launching the network in the month of May. The second step is essentially getting the validator program out, staking program out, and then from there on kind of onboarding more people who can stake CQT to like different validators that we have nominated and then delegated. So those, I mean, it is going to be a gradual process, and but while we do all of that, we are keeping an open governance system where people can talk about different things, like system parameters, changes in the processes or the operations, indexing like new chains, all of that. So can be kind of proposed on an open forum, and we take all of that seriously.
Fantastic. And so if my understanding is correct, you know, there's going to be some elements that will remain proprietary, and that's really because of your target clients, you know, which are, you know, predominantly enterprises, right?
Yeah, good question. So we do have enterprise as one of our audience, like in terms of like customers or clients. But at the same time, what we foresee is, I mean, the disruption won't be a lot for, or it won't be there, because we also want to consider what we have been like serving in terms of the customers. So we don't want to kind of disrupt that process. So the transition towards decentralization, there will be like different workflows that we will look at, but there won't be any disruption there. So we are looking at like a virtual global cooperative of data, and essentially will be governed by the token that we have, CQT, and that will allow basically holders to kind of do multiple things. One of them I already covered is voting, and the other thing is staking. But yeah, that's how the I mean, and as and when we onboard more people who stake and people who kind of participate in governance, we basically kind of gradually move towards decentralization. And of course, the workflows also, then it makes sense to kind of have I mean, like a different process to those workflows without having any disruption from a client's perspective, because we don't want to kind of disrupt that flow.
Great. And in line with progressive decentralization, you did touch on a little bit on the DAO, but can you tell us a little bit more about the Alchemist DAO? I understand this was kind of a fresh thing. It was just announced at MCon in Denver in the last 2 weeks or so. So I would love to hear more about that initiative.
Yeah, so basically AlchemistDAO was, again, it took birth under the Alchemist program, which started off as like an ambassador program focusing on growth and leadership for like different people who can contribute, not just technical folks, but also people who want to kind of contribute on the content side, on the developer augmentation or global expansion side, and so on. So we onboarded, I think, 2,500 members in a span of 4.5 months, and that in and of itself was like a huge achievement, because like we haven't seen such like a recruitment drive, so to speak, for an ambassador program that has happened in this space. Like at least I haven't seen anything of this sort. So and then we were thinking about decentralization. We were deep into DAOs. Like I myself, I'm like deep into DAOs, and then we started thinking that what if this like co-op, I mean, essentially can be converted into like a DAO wherein all the members, I mean, can essentially, so like my goal was from being community led to kind of go community owned, and position Alchemist DAO as Covalent's community DAO, at the same time giving value back to the Covalent network and using the same token, CQT. We are not using a different token. It's going to be the same token, and it adds value to the Covalent network in the sense that we are only focusing on data nerds who want to kind of add value and work in like different spheres. So, and we that's how we also came up with like guilds within the DAO. So we have like a marketing and growth guild, we have a research guild, we have a developer relations guild, and so on. We have an esports guild as well, mental health guild as well, and all these guilds are essentially kind of aiming, or their aim or goal is essentially to kind of uplift the growth and leadership that we see in different people within the DAO, and of course add value to the network as a whole. And we did a big event at MCon in Denver. That's like I wasn't there, but yeah, the other team members led by Jackie. I mean, she has been leading the Alchemist program. She was there along with Lay, Niall, and Adrian, and Elizabeth from the team. And yeah, we got like great response, great feedback. I mean, we were essentially talking to the who's who in the industry. We got, I think we got Cooper Trooper, of course, Jess, and I think we also got Chris from Meme to speak on the panel, to discuss about like community DAOs in general. So yeah, I mean, we're getting that like there's a feedback loop that we've kind of generated to kind of, and then that feedback loop, all of that is going in the DAO functioning and operations to kind of make this successful. That's how yeah, we are positioning this as the Alchemist DAO.
That's great. I think it's really great to see that there's a focus on encouraging people to practice good mental health. Like good, that's not something that has been common in this space until recently, I think. So that's really great for me personally to see. There's a certain focus on sustainability with DoinGud, and you know, like creating a positive social impact. And I feel like that's one way. It's a great way to do it, is to just connect with other people on topics that may not commonly be discussed, but they're very important. So I think that's awesome to see. And the Alchemist DAO is actually how you're connected to Gaj as well. Is that right?
Yeah, that is right. We started our journey with the Alchemist program for Gajesh. He was one of the ambassadors. And now, I mean, there are multiple ways that he can contribute to, specifically to the developer guild, where he would probably want to kind of contribute to like different hackathons, or even initiate a couple of workshops on the developer side and inspire other people.
That's fantastic. So I asked the same question to Gajesh in the beginning, but what impact, short or long term, do you, as an individual in this case, hope to have on the crypto space?
Yeah, good question. So, like, I mean, it ties back into like why I'm in this space. I mean, and then that's the only thing. Like so it was, I think, around 2016 or 2017 is when I was like deep into like tech. I was running my own marketing agency, serving to a few SF based clients, and I was listening to like different podcasts at that point. And then I stumbled on, and of course, like I was a huge listener of the Tim Ferriss show. The Tim Ferriss show, I think Tim interviewed Naval and Nick Szabo. I think that was like a game-changing moment of this thing in my life, because when I listened to that episode, and up until then, I was only kind of curious about, oh, what's happening with Bitcoin? It goes up, it goes down, you make money, and that's it. That's all I knew about Bitcoin. I didn't even know about Ethereum. But after that, like listening to that podcast, I actually listened to that like twice or thrice, just to kind of like understand more about it. And I said, okay, whatever I'm doing right now, like I just want to kind of leave all of that and do this. But how can I add value? And that was the time around when Naval kind of tweeted or put a tweet storm like around this topic, that like how can you add value? And then he said the growth in the industry will happen with two things or two kinds of people. One, those who are technical, and two, those who are community focused. And that kind of like really helped me like focus on, okay, how I can be a part of this, because of course I'm not a technical person. I've never done coding, not programming, nothing of that sort. But yeah, I've done community in the past. I've built communities for different clients. That's something that I can definitely do for this industry. So I started learning more. It wasn't like this that, okay, I started learning and I just jumped in like or got projects. My only goal was to kind of get projects or serve clients. But 6 months down the line, as I started learning, as I started kind of visiting like different places and like attending conferences, that's where I kind of like thought, okay, I think I need to stop doing the agency work and just focus on this and evangelize this space and be that person who grows this or goes from 0 to 1, basically. That's my goal. And even today, that's my goal for whomever I work. Covalent, I'm working for Covalent right now. I'm helping DAOs as well. I'm helping like different folks as well. I'm big, relatively okay-ish in the NFT space too, DeFi space as well. But yeah, like more than what I do, or more than what I execute, the focus is obviously evangelize and get more people in the space, like for them to identify like what how rewarding the space is, one, and two, how game changing it is from like a technical standpoint, and how it can basically help them from from different angles. So that's my goal. Like even like right now, I'm only thinking about that whenever I go to like different places. I thinking how I always think about how can I add value in like multiple ways that I can to grow this space. So yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah, I think until recently, a lot of people have really underestimated, or they really haven't appreciated the value of community in this space. But community is everything.
Yep, totally.
It is the foundation for these protocols, and I think without it, it's just kind of a slippery slope. I've seen quite a few projects, in the past 3 or 4 years, that really haven't put community at the forefront. And they're just, they really don't exist anymore. They're kind of ghost towns at this point. So that's great to see that you are directly involved and that you decide to put your time to this, because I too feel like, this is where my voice will speak to the most amount of people, is, in this particular space, and trying to educate people on the possibilities, the potential of Web3. It's transformative, and more people would do, I think, to hear about it. To hear about it would be a great thing. So are there any particular milestones that you would want to share that you've accomplished maybe this year?
Milestones around like Covalent as I mean, of course, like we look at like different things that we've done at the company. Look at like the public sale that we did. That happened, I think, in the month of March. Then followed up by the launch of the token itself. Like token generation event that happened. We looked at like different the ambassador program also kind of spinning up into a DAO. That was big from that perspective. From a company perspective, we've onboarded like I think thousands and thousands of developers who like from like different hackathons that we've conducted. So that's a big plus point. And we've also like made sure that like at least from the blockchain's perspective, like we have 15 blockchains indexed, but we also kind of make sure that we consistently throw that message out. We consistently work with these blockchains to kind of work like on different engagement touch points and like build on top of that. And yeah, so yeah, these are a few of the things. Like personally, of course, like I have like being involved with Covalent means that you do get connected with a lot of folks like from the industry. So like you learn a lot. There are like a lot of mentors that I have like gotten. I mean, I keep following up with things. Like I participate in like DAOs. So yeah, that's a big plus point. And yeah, I mean, that's all I can think of.
Fantastic. That's great to hear. So we have a little bit more time, and if
Sure.
you guys are on board, I'd like to take a couple questions that came in through our Twitter. Give me 1 second here. So we have kind of an undirected question, but I'll direct it at you, Pratik.
Sure.
And this might not be your speciality per se, but we have a question is, how do you come up with the token economics, I guess? So how would you as Covalent ensure that your token has sound economics?
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't fall under my this thing area of expertise. Of course, but all I can definitely say is there has been years and years of research that has gone behind us, because Covalent didn't pop up last year. We've been there since 2017. So Ganesh, who's our co-founder, he like when he thought of like launching a token, I mean, he like had like few ideas in his mind, and then of course he onboarded like a lot of researchers. I mean, Covalent is a research this thing as well, like from a data standpoint. So yeah, I mean, there has been years and years of research that has gone into the tokenomics. And that's how we came up with like what we are seeing today with CQT. We have 1 billion tokens, I mean, total supply. And of course, there are multiple use cases with the token. The first being it being like a governance token, then it being like a staking asset. And then third, of course, with the data points, like extracting data points will also need CQT to kind of like be rewarded to those who kind of query like data points. So that's also another kind of use case. And like the fourth use case that has popped up just like out of the DAO is like the AlchemistDAO also uses CQT as its currency. So yeah, I mean, these are some of the use cases that we have thought of. But yeah, like the tokenomics and everything, like I'm not the right person. Sure. You can definitely, I can direct this question to, let's say, Adrian, who's our CFO. But yeah, I mean, but I can definitely say that there's a lot of research that has gone behind this.
Awesome. We have another technical related question, it looks like. So maybe I won't direct that towards you, unless perhaps you have something to say. So they're wondering, how are you handling yourself to prevent any hackers' attacks? So they're wondering about the security of the network.
Yeah, good question. So as we speak, like our token smart contracts have already been audited by Quantstab, so we will be launching the staking and the validator program that also will be audited by Quantstamp, and there's another agency involved in this in terms of like doing the auditing. So, but from a Covalent perspective, I mean, just to give like a high level overview on this, we're not a protocol. We're not a DeFi protocol where we have assets kind of locked. We don't have assets locked. We don't have NFTs locked. All we have is data, which is publicly available, which is on chain. So I mean, and our token smart contract is like audited, which is like open source as well. Everyone can see that. So from a network standpoint, like we are well prepared, but like for a data company, I don't see any challenges that are like poised for like in terms of the future. But yeah, we are well prepared. We're way ahead. We have security researchers and so on. We have a panel. But yeah, I mean, all I can say is, yeah, it's. I mean, I don't want to say it's irrelevant, but it's probably less relevant to like a data company like us than compared to like a DeFi protocol or an NFT project, so to speak.
Great, awesome. All right, let's see. We're going to take a look at some of the other questions that we might have here. So this is more or less, I think, already touched on, but maybe you can expand on it a little bit more. This question is related to how are you working on the gas fees, which is charging much in other exchanges? Do you have such plans? So clearly you do in supporting other blockchains as well, which don't have nearly as high of a gas fee as Ethereum does. I think that question's pretty much answered.
Right, and again, just to add to that, again, we are not a protocol, we are not an exchange, we are not like a product, we are just a data company. So you like, yeah, there will be some exchanges like when the validator program goes out, or like let's say the Web3, sorry, the data component goes out, like, but the transaction fees, I mean, there is like less kind of connection there when it comes to like Covalent. Yes, we do support like different projects, like L2 projects or different L1 projects other than Ethereum who have less gas. We do support them. And like I said, our settlement layer is also going to be Moonbeam, which is like they're launching their mainnet soon. So it'll be on Moonbeam as well. So yeah.
Great. Well, I appreciate your time. This has been very informative. I think you guys are working on really groundbreaking technology, and both of you should be proud of the achievements that you've made so far. I'm really looking forward to where Covalent is headed from here. I'm really looking forward to where Gaj Finance is headed from here. As a whole, I think the space is really about to reach a sort of maybe apex point where, you know, we're going to onboard tens of thousands or maybe millions of new people into this space. I'm really looking forward to seeing how they discover the products that you guys have created.
Awesome.
So,
yeah, thank you. And then I'm looking forward to what's coming at DoinGud. I mean, the stuff that you guys are doing is very interesting. And yeah, Gaurang keeps on telling me about things. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that as well.
Yeah, we definitely share the opinion that the future is cross-chain. And I think that there will be plenty of opportunity for us to collaborate in the future. I'm really looking forward to it. So thank you guys for your time. Thanks for coming out. And to everybody else who's listening, we'll see you on the next one.